me over the car.
As my wife pulls out of the garage.
Yeah, so then you can hear me over the car.
She's running a little behind today, too.
Yeah.
Actually brought down some comic books.
What time is it where you are now?
Huh?
What time are you at now? You 2 o'clock that you are? You muted yourself. Good stuff. Hello, Entropy and Comics. It's hardly a community here, mate. It's just me and you now. I don't know what's happened to Carl. Carl's disappeared. He's gone mute. Don't know his phone's messed up or what. What you done to your phone? He's gone. That's it. It's just me now, and two people watching me with absolutely nothing to talk about. You know, I've got my flash shirt. Look, I've got a flash shirt. How geeky is that? I suppose I best sit up and show some comic books then. And what can I do? This is what I'm currently reading. I'll show you my currently reading pile. 3 people watching. I've got nothing to say. I'm currently reading my Defenders run. It took me about 3 years to get it together, maybe more. But I finally got the full Defenders run. I'm now up to 105 in reading it, so I'm cracking on pretty good with it. Recently got to when J.M. DeMatteis started, and you can tell the quality of writing when he came in straight away. I mean, I've never really thought much about writers, but you can definitely tell that the quality improves when he comes onto the book. I don't even know how to describe it, but he just seems more focused, more interesting, more engaging somehow. How he writes the characters and that. And I know Kyle will agree with me because Kyle was a big fan of this Defenders run and of J.M. DeMatteis.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught that, but so as you know, I'm reading the Defenders run now. I just started the Matisse when he joined it, and it's a noticeable improvement, isn't it? Just like the whole comic seems to go up, like the whole interest in it, the whole engagement of the characters, and the whole being sucked into the story. Just as soon as he comes on board, it's there straight away, kind of thing. I don't know if it's because I knew it was him, and maybe that coloured my thoughts when I actually come to read it. But I just thought it was really cool. That Six-Fingered Hand story you were talking about was really good. And, I'm going on further as well. It's all really good stuff. That's one I read the other day, 100. So I'm only showing these because you disappeared and left me on my own.
Yeah. It was kind of funny. I was trying to figure out why my wife was parked there. Oh. And my phone linked into the Bluetooth into her car, and she was trying to make a call.
Oh.
And my phone was blocking it while it was looped, and she reset, and when she reset, it shut me off. So it cut my connection. I was still linked, but it cut my connection.
Hello, Mark.
Hi, guys.
Don't you just love the end of issue 100? It doesn't answer a damn question.
I can't remember now. It was a couple of issues ago that I read it. What happened at the end? Was that the end of the Six-Fingered Hand?
Huge story, huge arcs, and then it just kind of said...
Is that when Satan basically wanted to get Son of Satan back, and he pretends that Hellcat is his daughter, and he makes it so they don't know if she's his daughter or not? That's what you're talking about. Yeah. How's Mark today?
Yeah, good, thanks. Great.
I'm just thinking of words that rhyme with Mark for future songs. Shark, lark, dark, park.
Yeah, we've got quite a few.
One of my favorite Vogon words, Fanark, rhymes with
Fanark. Yeah.
There you go.
Mark was lurking in the dark in the park. He thought it was a lark. Yeah, I don't know. We'll come up with something. Now I've shown these off, I've lost the order of what I've read and what I haven't read. I don't think I've read the Overmind.
Where are you, Greg?
At Lisa's.
How does the hospital appointment go?
Oh yeah, it was all right. It was just a regular bone strengthening jab. So it was all good. All good. So tomorrow she's got to go back for oncology appointment and get the results of her last scan. So fingers crossed there's nothing to worry about, hopefully. That's the ones I've read. You bought any new comics this week, Mark?
I mean, yeah, I'm still sorting through all the ones I got when I was on holiday because there was about 3 auctions when I was on holiday, all of which arrived. It's just taken me ages to sort through them. I just opened the last one today. Yeah, some nice
Okay. Did you get any all good stuff? Is it no dodgy ones that you thought it was good and it turned out to be rubbish?
Mostly it's raw stuff. So yeah, it's there's some nice ones for you actually. I know. I'll bring them. So part of it will be payments. I've got some rip hunters.
Cool, lovely.
And some sea devils. They call sea.
Oh, right, cool, yeah. Interesting.
Too low grade for me, but you'll like them.
Right. I'm trying to cut down buying at the moment because I've got such a read pile to go through. But we'll see how I do with that.
That generally never works, Gray.
What doesn't work?
I've heard you say that a few times, and it generally never works.
I know. It never works out. I know. I'm terrible. I keep trying to stop buying, but then I get offered. I blame that John Lacey. He's always offering me comic books, and I'm always having to say yes against my better judgment.
Hey, what do the Sea Devils have in common with the Big Lebowski?
No idea. Hang on. So the artist on the early ones was Russ Heath, but I don't know what he's got anything to do with the Big Lebowski.
What was the Sea Devils based on?
What was Sea Devils based on?
Deep Sea Divers.
The underwater Marine Corps.
Yeah, an American TV show with Lloyd Bridges.
Lloyd Bridges was in the Big Lebowski.
That's Jeff Bridges' dad, who was Lebowski, and that was the first TV. That's the first appearance of Jeff. Yeah.
How tenuous has this link got to be before we can?
It's Jeff Bridges' first appearance.
Was Sea Devils a TV series then?
Yeah.
No. Was it?
Are you sure it wasn't Underwater Agents?
It was Sea something or other that they made in the Sea Devils.
Sea Patrol.
Yeah, but it's only like loosely based on it. It's not actually the same characters or anything, is it? It's just happens to be a coincidence.
I think it's the main guy who was played by Lloyd Bridges. That's the main thing it was based on. But that was
the
Jeff
actual character
Bridges'
from the comic is the same as the character from the TV show. You're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was TV before it was comic, not comic before it was TV.
But that's it. Okay. So I don't know enough about either the Sea Devils comic. I've read about 2, and whatever TV show you can't even remember the name of yourself, which I've not seen any of. So it makes it hard for us to really get the connection. Yeah, fair enough. Hey, Mum's on.
It's the Mima.
Time to keep warm. You got cold weather there now, yeah?
Yeah.
You're coming in.
I ended up having to close the garage door because of the cold breezes and the kids out playing basketball making noise. So.
Right. So what time is it there now, Carl? Is it about 2 o'clock there, is it?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
It's 2 o'clock where Bill is.
Right. And where is Bill? I know I was late, but he said he wanted the link and now he's not turned up. He's probably busy at work.
He's late to being late. He's late. He's late for a very important date.
Yeah.
Carl, I have to tell you, the Wikipedia page for Sea Devils does not mention any TV show.
Look up Lloyd Bridges and see where I'm brain farting this.
No, that's you got to do your own research, mate.
I can't. If I go to do the research on here, it cuts me off. I'm on my phone, so it shuts me off here.
I think there was an undersea water-based show. I'm sure there was an actual a comic about that as well. An actual official one, like Dell or something like that, did an actual official.
Dell did something of it.
Yeah, because I think the Rayman's shown it before.
That
I
could
think,
be exactly what I'm thinking of. I'm not picturing because like
Sea Hunt. It was called Sea Hunt.
Sea Hunt.
Sea
See,
Hunt.
and
Nothing at
I'm
all to
thinking
do
of
with
Dell,
Sea
and
Devils.
that was
All
Sea
right,
Devils
all I can
was
say
against
with
DC.
that,
See,
with
it's
that,
adjacent. It's adjacent.
with this
I can't help it.
this latest bout of knowledge adjacency, I'm definitely going to call you a sea hunt next time I see you offline, Kyle. That's for sure. I'm going to call you a
I'm
sea
sitting here
hunt.
thinking of
I
Charles
think
or
a
Dell Sea
neuron
Hunt.
over here triggered a neuron over here.
Yeah.
What a sea hunt!
But I still think one was based on loosely based on the other.
Yeah, it probably was. It probably saw the like if it was around the same time, they probably saw the popularity of it.
The
Probably
TV series was 1954.
Yeah,
and the
it was
comic.
like 10 years later, wasn't it?
The comic was in
Oh
the
no,
60s.
sorry. TV series was 58 to 61, so it was around the time the comic started coming out.
So there probably was a connection of some sort. Why not? If it's seeming
The
popular.
character is called Mike Nelson. What's the character in Sea Devils called?
Don't remember.
You might be right, Kyle. You never know. Kyle could
I've read
be
2
right.
issues.
Mike Nelson.
Well, I know there's a connection, but I admit I was thinking.
No, the names aren't the same.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Dell comic, not the DC comic.
Right.
And as soon as you said Dell, I was like, shit, that's the one I was thinking of.
You're thinking about yeah.
I was thinking of the Dell comic, not the DC comic. But Jeff Bridges appears in a comic book.
Yeah. That's a connection and a half, that is. You can connect to almost everybody with that.
So your original question, how does the Big Lebowski connect with Sea Devils, was never solvable.
Wow.
Only by a process of three separations of whatever the
It would have been Sea Wolf. It would have been Sea Wolf.
All right.
But that was Lebowski's first appearance on the big screen.
We need to get Kyle on Only Connect. You need to start doing the Only Connect questions for Victoria Colin Mitchell. He'll be like, only doesn't connect, and you've got to try and grasp at straws to try and work out what the answer is.
Man, I told you where I slept.
Show, grasping at straws, where you have to pluck ideas out of the ether. I hope you guess correctly.
No, to be fair to Carl, there usually is some.
Yeah, that's why I call him Truth Adjacent, because
exactly.
Like he's getting something and he knows there's something there. But I'm like that as well. Like sometimes you think, oh, I know I've heard something about that from somewhere, but you can't actually remember the actual exact thing, and it's so easy to cock things up. It's like I was reading I read the Defenders run, and one thing I remember when I was a kid, I remember reading the Mandrill in the Defenders run, and I really liked the Mandrill because of that, because I felt sorry for him because he got shot by his mum, right? And I was like, how can it be so how horrible to be like your mum doesn't love you and she shoots you kind of thing. And I was like, and I remember reading, I just read it again recently. I'm assuming it was the same one. He gets shot by his mum again, and it was completely different to how I remembered it. In the one story that I thought I remembered, she was really, like, she hated him. That's why she tried to kill him, and and he was only like, because he was a mutant, and he was you never loved me kind of thing. And there was nothing like that in the story. She was much more sympathetic in the story that I just reread. So I don't know if it was I read a different story or what. It was actually the same premise where his mum shoots him, but it just felt like a totally different sort of emotionally to how I remembered reading it as a kid. So it's really weird.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much only appeared in like the Defenders and I think a Marvel team up or something like that.
Yeah, he starts off in Shannon the She-Devil. That's his first appearance.
Is he?
It's like Shannon the She-Devil #3, and I bought that because I knew he was in there, and I remember reading the story of him as a kid. I think it was in a UK reprint kind of thing. But yeah, most of the things that in the Defenders was similar, but I just for some reason I thought he was like traumatized by his mum not loving him, and she was horrible, but it turns out he was just a horrible person anyway. But it wasn't as bad as I remembered it being, kind of thing. But anyway, he wasn't as sympathetic a character as I thought I remembered him being.
Well, kind of the Penguin in the movie Origin, where the parents think he's vile and just push him away.
Yeah. Another thing I remember, like looking at Mandrill, he's got the power to control women with his pheromones or whatever. When I was a kid, I never thought of the connotations of that at all. I just thought, oh, it's a power he can control women to do his fighting for him. But you think, and that's kind of like that's a little bit. You know, you realise the deeper connotations of it, like as you get
as you
older.
became a dirty old man, you're
Exactly. I realised that was a lot more. Yeah.
That's
It
like
has a lot
Eros
of.
being put on trial by She-Hulk for coercing women in the bed without using
In recent comics?
In like the mid '80s Avengers,
Yeah.
Eros
Star
got
Fox?
dragged to court by She-Hulk for
I did.
taking advantage of women.
there we go.
Star Fox.
Thanos' brother, yeah, Star Fox.
Star Fox. Okay. That was all kind of weird as well when you think about that, and like in which because like his power was heightened charisma. It wasn't like he was like mind controlling people. Just that he had really really good charisma, and he was very charismatic. And like,
Well, they were hitting everything in that story run. Pym beating his wife, and then that happening with Star Fox, and like they really weren't aiming at 12-year-old kids there.
Yeah, that
but
whole thing with him hitting his wife was meant to have been an accident, wasn't it? That wasn't that. Apparently, the writer didn't write it like that. But then when the artist come to draw it, he had him like smacking her, and that wasn't what the writer intended. So I heard anyway. But they rolled with it. They went with it in the end. That's so I heard anyway.
Yeah, the original intent wasn't as severe, but it just was more impactful once they saw it. And made more sense in the storyline if they were going to say you just went batshit crazy. Because it kept shrinking and growing and shrinking and growing.
Oh, they decided it affected his mind, did they?
Yeah. Yeah, God knows how many times stuff like that's been retconned, but
Yeah,
they're trying to tell that there's a price for everything. You can't be a hero without a price.
Yeah, these are just the dramatic things they've got to explore and make stuff up about, and they can never have a happy ending.
Yeah. Well, you got to throw soap opera in there to appease everybody. I'm not big on the soap opera stuff, but stories would be very short, very, very, very short if they didn't.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Hulk could jump in a scene and just hammer fist down somebody and turn them into street grease and jump off, and it's a 2-page story.
Yeah.
Why didn't Superman just burn them up?
He's kind of badly handled in the Defenders, old Hulk, isn't he? They don't really, what I mean, the amount of chaos and disasters that he nearly causes. It's like,
well, they gave him a home.
Went away from the city.
That's part of why I loved it. That's another reason I love issue 92. Really goes into that because he is just an innocent kid, and they accept him as that, so he stays calm. But he can fight when he needs, and he's learning to control it. But he's accepted, and it's the acceptance. If you don't just sit and keep hitting at him, he's not going to attack you.
No, but he flies the handle at the slightest thing. He's really a liability. He's a total liability.
Well, yeah.
And the Defenders should know to treat him with kids' gloves. About the time they snap at him and he gets angry, and it's like, well, you were fucking idiots for bloody well snapping at him. You know what I mean? He's like powder keg. You should walk on eggshells around him at all times. Explain things to him slowly and carefully, and make sure he's well fed and all that kind of stuff, instead of just
But
anyway.
they took him one step above mindless, and I kind of it's kind of sad, but I kind of viewed him as an MR character. He went from a genius to like a traumatic brain injury kind of guy, where he's loving and innocent, but he can tear the house down around you.
Yeah.
There was some heartstrings pulled there with that one for me, and like I said, I cannot overstate how brilliant that story was in a 22-page story where it starts out the biggest, baddest, worst possible thing's going to happen. They send in these big heavy hitters, all the guys in the official handbook of the Marvel Universe that are 100-ton plus guys that can do this, that can do that, just get waved off like it's nothing. Literally, just a wave of the hand, and they're just knocked out.
What story are you talking about?
The Defenders 92, where these super strong characters go up against something as powerful as Eternity, and it's just like whatever, just brush you off. And the guy that made the difference was the guy that was basically crippled and powerless.
But there's no one actually fighting Eternity himself. They're fighting the 3 shards.
Well, they're fighting.
And no one
They're
don't know
fighting
return to him. Yeah.
Fragments of him, but that's the equivalent. Is they're fighting a god.
Yeah.
And the god's basically like, off with you, and the one that gets him, it's not about punching him in the face.
Yeah.
It's about appealing to humanity.
Sometimes you got to talk things out, and it's a lot more successful than fighting.
And that could have been stretched out over 3, 4, 5, 6 issues, and he so concisely told that in one story. And then the guy in the end's like, "What the fuck did I do?" It's like, you just saved the universe, and he's like, "But I'm still worthless." It's like, well, I know that feeling. It's like, Jesus, what a story.
Did you say you're coming on Slingers this Saturday, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I think Nalma's coming on as well now because you've got 2, Roger and Cap are both out. So
yeah. Well, I was gonna wait for Bill, but who knows when he'll eventually pop in. I'm gonna go grab stack of comics I grabbed upstairs. Utter randomness here.
Hey Kenneth, next March, is it December 10th or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, got stuff for you.
Cool. You whatnotting crazily? Lots of crazy whatnot, whatever it's called. Whatnotting.
Whatnotting? Yeah. I'm not really in buy mode at the moment. Selling's a bit quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a horror show tomorrow, so I'll see how that goes. Horror seems to sell quite well. I've got
Let's see. There is absolutely zero connective tissue pretty much to any of these books, but
The Birth of the Defiant Universe. I can pretty safely say I've never read a Defiant comic.
A 1993 commemorative, limited to 1,000, signed by Jim Shooter.
Okay.
There you go.
So
this was another shooter failed attempt, wasn't it?
Are you sure that's not Mrs. Kirby?
Yeah. But
stop winding him up.
It's got a virgin cover underneath.
Yeah.
And a rice paper topper.
Yeah.
Signed
it's
by
it's very hard for any company to really come up and challenge the big 2, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
There's just enough.
But this became, Defiant became the new Valiant. That just kind of folded into the new Valiant. But there's only 1,000 of these in existence, so, or were in existence. Hell, they're so fragile and stuff that.
Where did you get that from?
Just a rarity. God, who knows?
Okay.
Somewhere, someplace over time.
I've got a few Defiant. It didn't last very long, did it?
Can't say I ever remember it even. What was their character called?
Like I said, Defiant folded into Valiant and all that stuff.
Okay.
Led to all that.
Defiant came before Valiant, or it joined up.
It's the same people. It's Shooter's company folded into Layton's company, folded into, they just kept having, like they'd have it for a year and then it'd bankrupt and then they'd roll it into something else and it'd bankrupt. It's the same thing that happened in the 80s when you got Eclipse that folded into First or whatever and that folded into whatever and just kept folding. Look,
isn't that a first appearance of someone? That's the first appearance of someone, isn't it?
First appearance of Amethyst Princess of Gem World.
That was
Here, let me turn on some real light in here.
Not a comic I ever felt the need to read at Amethyst of Gem World. Girls' comic, that is. Girls' comic as far as I'm concerned.
I've got one if you want to read it.
Not much.
All right. Let me get some real light in here. There we go.
The Age of, that's my favorite.
First appearance of Princess of Gem World. Now that that's on, you can see that.
Wild Star, is it his name? I can't remember now. I think it's Wild Star.
That would have been a good one for Wildfire. That would have been a good
I
one
think it's
for mine.
Wildstar. Roger will know. Is it Wildstar or Wildfire? I'm sure it's Wildstar, Wildfire.
I thought it was
I like him. He's really one
Wildstar,
of my
but who
favourite characters.
knows?
I just like the way he looked.
Hi, Roger.
But
Wildfire.
then
Oh, there you go.
this.
Ha
Da,
ha!
da, da.
Kyle's got a girl's comic.
But again, for utter rarity because of this.
What, 35¢? Oh,
When have you ever seen a mark down in price on a variant?
Oh, it's quite a drop as well.
Why do they do that, Kyle?
Wildfire.
There's less than 1,000 of these in existence. Yeah, it's Wildfire. There's Roger, what's the exact story to these? There's there was 1,200 printed. No one's ever got the full story.
I thought the variants were like a 5-cent increase, in an area.
Usually a 5-cent increase. They did this,
25
and one other comic. And look, I have issue 2 of that too.
Oh yeah, Metarog's got them as well.
Well, maybe it was just a device to try and sell the comics to get it out there and let people have a look.
I think it had something to do with a test market and maybe a military base.
Okay.
But it's extraordinarily rare. I mean, just extraordinarily rare.
No, there's people like Roger.
Extraordinarily rare, Kyle. I immediately go on eBay and find 8 copies.
Yeah, maybe.
That 35-cent
rare though.
Let me have a look.
But the thing is, them for me,
Crystal.
Really don't interest me at all. That kind of thing. I don't care about variants. Not. I was one of each comic.
Princess of Gem World, the 35-cent variant.
I don't care about different covers.
You'll find stories on it. You will not find them for sale. The 60-cent version is just not a big deal.
Does that Defiant have the original covers too? It's like a rice paper cover and a version
it's
cover.
got a rice paper overlay.
And less than 10,000 in existence.
And there's a lot less than that. That's what I said there. It's got a virgin.
Well, the raw, you're right, Kyle. The raw here is selling for 200 quid. 200 quid, yeah.
Well, for 35 cents now.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Yeah, I knew there was something involved with Texas, but it was limited marketing. And 10,000 is way too big of a number. They didn't have that many. I mean, hell, the 35-cent price variance, I think the max they ever found on that was.
What's it mean when you've got the box in the corner box when it's completely blank? Is that like come out of a bag or something?
It depends, but generally, yeah. Yep, especially with
because last week's cover slingers we did Mind the Gap, and my Hulk comic that I showed where he's punching a hole in the middle of Machine Man, the box was blank, and I meant to mention that as part of the blinking spiel. It's a blank box. Look, there's a gap there where there's normally a barcode. But I completely forgot about it. Not that it matters anyway.
That?
I think Matilda was determined I came last week, so there was no point in me mentioning the gap. She couldn't even get the definition of gap right. I had to bloody look it up in the second round.
That's never a good sign. Whenever you have to look up the dictionary definition, it generally means you're going to come last.
Yeah, exactly.
So what makes this one so unique?
I don't know, mate. There's no number in the box.
It's very faded. It's a very faded copy.
It's not faded at all.
It's
the issue number came off, and it didn't have the full links on it. This was never supposed to leave the press.
Oh, it's a
print error. That's what I said.
Yeah, it's a printing error, but it's
not faded. It's just not printed properly. Yeah, it's missing the color, isn't it?
It just didn't print properly, and the issue number fell off of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yeah, no number. This is like Starfire 1. They had this happen too. The little die that's in there fell out.
I think I've got a Green Lantern one that's got the number missing.
And these are printed. They didn't. There was like something missing because this is supposed to be like a different color. of green. So something got left out. I don't think it was blue, and I don't think it was red, but something got left out that made the color scheme different.
Cyan.
And they weren't supposed to see the light of day, but they ended up getting shipped out. So yeah, and again, it's not faded. That's the weird thing. That's not sun fading. It's missing a print color and the gloss. It's missing the print color and the gloss that went over it. It's a total printing defect. So here are more random.
Lurid Tales of Jaded Youth. Is that written by you?
Yeah.
There you go. I know you often consider that. Does existence preclude essence?
You say preclude
and
or
then
precede?
If that wasn't good enough,
either way,
how about the 3D issue?
Where the glasses?
Does it pop up? Is it a pop-up issue? Okay, I see.
And I can't remember if this even came with them.
Well, it's got 3D glasses with it. Has it got embossed where you can feel?
Yeah, I don't even know if this came with them unless it was in the bag.
Have you got the Braille version?
Have you guys seen the Mego blinking Atlas toys?
Naked.
They brought out a load of Mego Atlas toys.
Yeah, who was it? McFarlane or whoever got a hold of that?
What a Mego! I thought Mego was the company. Seen the Grim Ghost, it was the one I saw the other day. Hands of the Dragon, or was it Feet of the Dragon? Whatever it's called, Hands of the Dragon. So someone showed a picture of that. I think they're selling like in Walmart or something like that.
And
Roger would be in there for his Tiger Man. I bet Roger would get straight in there for that Tiger Man, wouldn't you, Roger?
Something I love about this, which is considered a minor defect. This is a first print 10 center with a Canadian 15-cent label on it. But look, it's a ship.
Yeah, that's true.
And look,
I showed enough ships on those videos.
It's a dark frigate.
It's hardly worth the effort, to be honest.
And then
amount of comments the video's got. Oh, I need that. I want Darren to come on. I need him to go through his Classics Illustrated. So if I ever bother to do another comics on location, I can do one for H.G. Wells.
And then Jules Verne.
Oh, yeah. Jules Verne.
And then Bow and Arrow, Robin Hood.
What did you say?
Bow and Arrow, I think, in America.
Oh, Bow and Arrow.
Yeah.
I thought you said Bonio for some reason. I thought, what? What's he talking about?
And then, of course, the Headless Horseman.
Rip Van Winkle. That's Washington Irving, isn't it? Or Irving Washington? Washington Irving, that's it.
Washington Irving, yeah. So that was just Lisa, utter randomness.
When we go for walks, me and Lisa, we do like 20 questions, and we have an endless day, and you have to guess who the person's thinking of. And I was thinking of Rip Van Winkle the other day. I couldn't remember what he was from even, but I thought it was some kind of fairy tale or something, maybe from the Brothers Grimm or something like that. I didn't realize it was the same guy who did Sleepy Hollow. But I looked it up, and that's why I knew it when you just showed it.
Yeah. That's as random as I can get with comics that happen to be stacked right on top of things. So I was like, except these. I had to fish a couple of these out, but it was in a top box. Yeah. So that was for your benefit.
Comics I'm flogging off tomorrow in my horror show. So these are generally duplicates.
Yeah. Oh, yes, number one. The terrible monster from the lake. The terrible monster from the lake that dies when he goes into the ocean.
And that
was quite an interesting story.
The cover artist is Louis Dominguez.
Yeah, that's a great cover though. I like that cover. That's really cool.
A good cover. It's got the classic Bronze Age horror of the two kings.
Kids hiding. Yeah. It's a pretty cool looking sea piece though. I've got to say, I think it looks quite menacing. Lighthouse in the background.
Yeah, lighthouse in the background. It's a good cover.
Yeah, it's a decent cover.
So how much do you think I'm flogging that for?
I think I bought one a little while ago. It's got a bit of a kink in it. I think it was about a tenner or something.
I'm selling it for a tenner. Yeah. It's 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 a 4.0 probably 4.5.
Yeah.
Swamp
Thing.
So I'll go to the Swamp Thing number 1.
Oh, the horror.
The horror of the Swamp.
I've nearly finished my 13 Nights of Halloween. They start on the 19th, everybody. Make sure you watch every night of my 13 Nights of Halloween.
Okay.
They're a lot of bloody work.
How long do each one last?
5 minutes, 6 minutes. It's just like one horror story from an old DC horror comic, really.
Are these new ones or reboots?
They're all new ones. They're all new stories. Roger's done a couple of them. Matilda done the voice for one for me. I got Matilda to play the Sea Hag from Secrets of the Haunted House number 35, I think it is. So she played the Sea Hag to a T, obviously, because born to play a Sea Hag.
Why are you always doing typecasting, Gray? What did you get Metarog to do? Did you get Metarog to do the little dirty old man with the?
Well, Metarog gets to choose his own He always chooses his own comic book, and he always chooses to be an insane old witch man or something like that. It's just apart from the time when he was a Mexican gringo, like bandito kind of thing. He put on the first one that he did. But he does get into. He like hams it up for all he's worth. Roger does. You got to take your hat off to him.
Great, didn't like the one I picked out.
I've got some sort of magnet to this comic. Whenever I buy a mixed lot in an auction, this comic always appears to be in it. I think it's a bit spooky, so I bought a mixed lot.
You've been haunted by a comic.
I'm being haunted by Madame Xanadu.
Oh well, there's worse people to be haunted by.
So this is Madame Xanadu number 1. It's a great comic. This has got a poster in it. It's got the Madame Xanadu poster in it. It's got a little short story illustrated by Brian Bolland.
Yeah, so is that a sci-fi story?
Yeah, it is a sci-fi story.
Yeah, it's weird, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like she didn't get that many comics. Why do they choose to the only comics she got in that run? I think to just suddenly put an extra sci-fi story at the end of it.
Right at the end.
It's quite weird.
Yeah, it's right at the end of the comic because I've got a copy of this with that and it said signed by Brian Bolland. And I go, where the bloody hell is it? I didn't know Brian Bolland was in here. And it's right at the back.
Backup story.
It's right at the back. Weird. It's this backup story falling down to heaven.
I can only imagine that they had an extra few pages of Madame Xanadu, like after that comes after the 5-part one of hers, didn't it?
It comes
one shot.
So I'm going to show that. So that one is a relatively low cost comic. That's
Kaluta's, right? That's Kaluta's cover story.
Yeah, that's Kaluta. Yeah.
That's one I've talked to him about, and I wanted to get him on the show about because they paid him to work it up. That's one of those where they paid for it. They were just going to toss it and let it go like they did with some of the.
Well, it's a great cover. This is homage.
They went ahead and printed it.
This is a homage cover. This gets homage regularly. This is the first appearance of Madame Xanadu, also Mike Kaluta.
Yeah.
This is actually quite a pricey comic. This is quite pricey. So the other one is a first titled series. This is the first.
And that was the only one in that series. That's what makes me think that was a leftover from Doorway to Nightmare. Otherwise, why did they not make a full book? So I reckon they had a bit of a story left over. They bunged it in that Madame Xanadu. Needed a few pages filled, so they gave Brian Boland to do a little sci-fi one at the back.
Maybe, or they might just have had it on file. Quite often they had these things on file and they just pull them out occasionally.
I can't remember. I mean, this conversation goes back over 10 years. But Bernie Wrightson had something big to do with Doorway to Nightmare. And he peddled it off to Kaluta. Like they wanted Wrightson, he peddled it off to Kaluta. And that's what launched Kaluta. Like he was getting thrown work and he was getting thrown covers. But there's some kind of story where Bernie did him a solid.
Yeah.
Because Kaluta basically takes over at House of Mystery for about after Bernie and then Neil Adams appeared. Kaluta does about 50 issues. Right. Okay, now, Kyle, I want you to ask me, there's a quiz question involved here. What has this comic got to do with the Big Lebowski?
There you go. Well, if it's like Seawolf, then yeah.
I'm going to ask
Like
that
I said,
question
my
on my
brain
Whatnot
went
show.
to
I'm going to
Dell,
ask the
not to
question.
DC.
I'm going to ask this question at my Whatnot show tomorrow. If anybody gets halfway near an answer, I'll give them a free comic.
Oh dear.
This is nice. I bought a lot which contained Old House of Mysteries and House of Secrets. And believe it or not, I had 2 issues of this in it. I hadn't got it, so I've kept the better copy. I mean, they're both quite nice copies.
Oh, that's interesting. That's an old one. That was
That's early
and this
not the horror.
This robot is called Roger. I don't know if Roger's still watching.
Obviously, Roger the robot. That looks like a 1980s games console, a little handheld one used to have. You know,
it's a bit ahead of its time. It's from 1964.
Yeah,
really nice one. I've not seen it before. I do like the cover.
Yeah.
I had the 6th appearance of Eclipso. Shipped it down to Florida so that it could be shipped up to Canada as a gift. And between Florida and Canada, it got lost in the mail.
Sorry, why did you have to ship it to Florida in order to ship it to Canada?
I couldn't pay the $70 shipping to Canada.
Literally,
$6 and some ephemera would have cost me like between $70 and $80 to ship to Canada at the time. And for like $8, I could ship it to Florida, and he was sending a care package up. Roscoe was sending a care package up. Nerdy. And he was sending a care package up, and he could put it in it, and it wouldn't make like a $70 difference in his shipping. You know what I mean? But if I sent a Gemini mailer, it was like $70. And he was sending one, and it only added like $2 to his shipping. So I shipped it down to him, and he's going to send him a package. And it got lost in the mail. Your postal
service is like, it seems like it makes up its own rules from state to state or something. Just bizarre. I'm sure they're telling you the highest priced service available, and you've got to say no. Service. Give me the cheapest
COVID,
service.
The shipping prices spiked really high during COVID. They started leveling back out, but no, it was more expensive for me to ship somewhere that's like 300 miles away to get it into Canada. And it was more expensive to ship to Canada than it ever was to England. It's the equivalent of shipping to Australia.
It's bizarre.
You know, it was nuts.
Sometimes capitalism doesn't work.
It was utterly nuts. I mean, the lowest cost on it was like $72.
Right, a few modern ones. This is a nice little series. I don't know if you've ever seen this. It's some great covers. It's a little horror series called The Marked. And it really does have some fantastic covers on it. This one's the Halloween special. Blade #1.
Okay.
Quite like this cover. I don't collect Spawn, so I'm selling it, but it's quite a nice cover. This is King Spawn, and
King Spawn.
Quite like the cover. A bit tasteful. And next up, this is great series called Nice House on the Lake. It's been currently it's in its 2nd series now. It's the second one.
I think I read first series online, and I was like,
well, the 2nd series is Nice House on the Sea. Similar sort of concept, except in this one they all know each other. In Nice House on the Sea, they're all celebrities or famous people or famous scientists who've been invited to the house.
The first series have an actual ending, like with a
well, no, it doesn't. It sort of hints at an episode. It hints at a 2nd series. Which has come, and the characters in the 1st series do make an appearance in the 2nd series.
I thought they was all stuck in a blinking house by the lake and they couldn't get out.
Yeah, the world has been destroyed. So an alien species has taken a few individuals who represent humanity, and he saved them in a bubble while the rest of the world has been destroyed. So they can stay in the bubble and they can have what they want, basically, but they can't leave it. Great story.
The boy in the plastic bubble.
It struck me like when I was reading it. It was like, you know, the TV show Lost, where someone came up with a good concept, but they had no idea where we're going to go with it and how to end it. That's what I kept thinking when I was reading that last Nice House on the Lake. It was like,
well, we'll see. I hope he does end it. So I agree
Yeah.
with you. It didn't come to a satisfactory end with issue 10, but it is now a second series. So I'm hoping that's going to end. I'm hoping there's going to be some sort of resolution at the end of that.
Hey, speaking of the sea and seafaring stuff, Mark, what'd you think of my latest batch of pictures and stories?
Well, as usual, Kyle, I get halfway through them and then can't figure out what on earth is happening.
Yeah, he sends too many at once, and you get on with your day. You don't. By the time you come back to the chat,
sort of
there's 100 messages gone by.
I'm in somewhere in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, getting redirected to Japan or somewhere, and I think, what the hell is going on? I have no idea when or where this was occurring or what it's got to do with Kyle. Other than that, it's brilliant.
Yeah. But I love telling that story of Wing Fam. I wish more people could meet that
was the
kid.
guy who became a Marine after being rescued by the Marines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just, when he tells it, you know, you can tell when people are talking about certain things, their eyes light up more. They're more animated, things like that. And this kid, kind of somber, kind of angry. But when he tell the story, you know, he was picked up by a Marine in Saigon and loaded onto a helicopter. And his family got shipped to Seattle, the ones that lived. He lived with like his mom and his aunt. His dad had died. And he's like, he had this image of this Marine in this camouflage uniform, just picking him up like a superhero. And I'll never be able to do the story justice because when he tells it, it's just so broad and vivid and emotional. And he says, they put me on this helicopter and I flew for the first time and I was in awe of that. Then I got there and I had to basically learn the language. Did my camera die or something?
No, you're okay.
No?
Okay, I see a blank screen.
But
then, you know, like
cigarette
13 years later, he's like, I got a chance. I graduated high school. I got my American citizenship. And I enlisted in the Marine Corps, and there wasn't nothing going to stop me from wearing this uniform. And you talk about somebody who's just so proud, you know, so dignified in the uniform of, I earned this, I did it. And it's like, good for you, kid. Because he was like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old getting tossed under. Just it's the kind of stuff you see in comic books or hear about in books. And, he had that story. I was like, damn, that's just so cool.
It's like I don't know if you watch anything of my mate Alan's channel, but he has a good show on a Monday night where he teams up with Stephen Gentner. Stephen must have one of the most he has got one of the most amazing comic collections.
Didn't you have a 3-part interview with him or 4 or 5?
I did, yeah. He's a wealth of knowledge about comics, and he's a really good storyteller. Anyway, he's just on the latest episode. He talks about he's acquired a real piece of history because he's a big historian. He likes the history behind his comics, and he's acquired one of the key comics of the Okinawa comic collection. I don't know if you know what collection that is. So during World War II, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the American authorities rounded up all Japanese citizens living in America, regardless of whether they were American citizens or not. If they were of Japanese origin or anything to do with Japan, they got moved out of their homes and placed in internment camps.
What's the Star Trek connection to that?
What's his face?
Something happened to Spock.
George Takei, Sulu.
George Takei, yeah.
George Takei was in one of those for 2 years.
Okay, so and then
he's made a stage show about it. And he recently did a stage show about it.
Yeah.
It was musical.
Okay, well, in one of these internment camps, the Okinawa collection comes from a couple of Japanese women who basically collected American comics. And they used to put their name on it, and they used to put symbols on it representing which woman had bought it or whatnot. And what was really interesting, of course, is they were collecting comics, in 1947, 1948, not long after Pearl Harbor. And quite a lot of the comics were about Americans killing Japanese people, it was propaganda. So very odd to think that these people who were being locked up by the Americans were buying the American propaganda. Interesting. Anyway, he's picked up one of these issues from.
So were they interred in America or interred in Okinawa?
Yeah, and like Arizona, it's the reason that they weren't. They brought them in from the ocean, so they didn't have to worry about.
So lots of them were living in California, down by San Francisco.
Yeah, and there was they brought them inland, and it was kind of arid and stuff like that.
I'm just trying to work out why it's called the Okinawa collection. Is that
it was the name of the family?
Okay.
Yeah,
they're from Okinawa. Okinawa's the great big American military.
It's something like that. It's like that, but it was the name of the family.
Yeah.
Right.
It might have been Okawinjina or something like that, but it was. And
then what? Did they carry on collecting for a long while after that, or was it?
Just big enough for them to have got a pedigree collection from Heritage.
So it's basically.
And didn't they get them to read to the kids or something? Wasn't that the backstory that they were getting them to read to the kids?
I'm assuming if you're in an internment camp, you've got, it must be a bit boring, so you've got to find some entertainment, ain't you, I suppose.
But they're a bit like American air bases. They put the comics in the stores in the internment camps.
Yeah,
this is where they bought them.
Well, yeah, and like you said, it's basically propaganda. The Yellow Peril.
Yeah,
the way they portray.
That's got to be quite harsh if you're a kid. Like they say that, like people like to see representation of themselves in comic books or in their reading material. Like, for example, so you have black superheroes and women superheroes now, so they feel, this is a character I can get behind. How bad must it have been as a Japanese kid in the internment camp, where every comic book is showing you as the blinking and people looking like you as the villain?
But you see, some of them didn't view themselves as being Japanese. They were.
Because they were American. They lived in Japan in America all their lives or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So they didn't see themselves as Japanese. They saw themselves as American.
That's what I'm saying. The comic books must have really, really done their head in. Really must have really, babe, you want to take your pill?
Yeah, just outside our lifetimes, that's travesties happen.
Yeah.
So my mom was a baby boomer at the end of that, born at the end of the war. I don't want to give away her age because she's so young and spry, but
I'm a baby boomer. 59 counts as a baby boomer.
That's just hard to wrap your head around when you think about it. That.
Yeah, I don't
tell people nowadays what's happened in our lifetimes or the generation right behind us. Like, we interred people. There's the civil rights movement didn't happen until we were born. I mean, Jesus. What the fuck?
Yeah, there's a lot of changes in our lifetime. There'll be a lot more after we've gone and all. If we don't all kill each other or die in some kind of cataclysm.
I don't know. The more, just every passing day, the lid's coming off. Religion's gonna take one hell of a hit because it's gonna come out that we've had contact with aliens.
You're going down the alien route again.
Every day something new is happening. Every day something new's coming back. There's a new thing that comes out. Something else is uncovered. Freedom of information comes
are they
out.
being uncovered? Are they being uncovered on sites called WeBelieveInAliens.com?
No,
it's Tinfoil Hat Weekly, I think it is.
No, it's happening in Pentagon hearings. It's happening on live recordings of SpaceX rocket shoots and.
So where are they all, Kyle? Then, if it's all this stuff happening,
and the U.S. Navy is opening up the books on this. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield.
I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great Bardfield. I've not seen any in Great
You've seen the Navy stuff. You've seen the Navy stuff. You've seen the Pentagon stuff. It's the lid's
Well,
just
how
coming off of it.
convincing is it? So where you so is this on these things you're seeing on official like sites, like proper news, like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
sites?
Well, like I said, it's on C-SPAN out of the Pentagon. You know,
Well, it's not.
it's live
So
recordings out of the Pentagon. This stuff is every day something new's getting uncovered. So they can't keep a lid on it anymore.
But this is old footage from the 1960s, isn't it?
No, God no. They got fighter jets chasing these things that they can't catch. That footage got released. There's naval aviator commanders going on television going, "Yeah, I saw it."
There you go. Mum's got let the cat out of the bag.
So.
Oh well, she's beat the odds.
Yeah, I mean, just look up Commander David Fravor, and you'll see everything you need to know. That's a Top Gun fighter pilot. That's like, yeah. F.A.R.T.s.
He was probably tripping balls. You know, he blinking American soldiers and stuff like that. He was probably tripping balls, and he didn't know. He saw loads of things up there. I bet
he was jockeying like an F-14 Phantom. So yeah.
Yeah. He was like,
yeah, they're just, and there's multiple, and stuff that wasn't supposed to come out is out. You know, and the lid's just coming off of it.
Okay,
well, hasn't created much of a stir at the moment, has it?
They keep tamping it down, but it's like every day. I just saw something yesterday where stuff's coming out with things going on with SpaceX, and
all I can hope. I think personally would rather not encounter aliens because I can't look into the history of mankind when we've travelled out and discovered new places. Look what's happened to the new places that we've discovered in practically every single situation.
They just sent a new modern probe to Europa. They just sent a new modern probe to Europa, and the minute that thing hits the atmosphere, they're just going to shit because they've already basically said, yeah, there's microbacterial life in the
Great. The alien species will be far more advanced than we are.
Yeah, but I don't know why they. I just feel there'd be more problems than solutions. That's what I'd reckon.
No, I'm a great believer in the fact they're leaving us alone until we've reached a level where we're okay to be allowed into the.
It reminds me of the old 2000 AD Prague's Future Shocks or something like that. And there's like a big sign, like just in our above the saying, "Do not enter uncivilized thugs" or something like that. You know, on the signpost, so no one comes and visits us.
Yeah, I'm literally waiting for any day something big just to happen where they can't cover it up. You know, like 60 people film it from different directions.
I don't think that would be a good thing. I don't think
it doesn't matter. It won't. Nobody will believe it anyway. People believe what they want to believe. It's nothing to do with facts.
Well, it's going to be in broad daylight. That's the thing. I mean, the Phoenix Lights in '97. There's too many people that the Phoenix Lights were they were like, yeah, no, you're not telling me otherwise. There's just too many videos. Too many eyewitness accounts, and then, you know, major people coming forth and going, as a governor of the state, that was something.
Yeah, but that's because I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I don't look into it. But I personally think I would rather there was no aliens coming to discover us because I wouldn't trust their motives.
It's just simple exploration, no matter how you look.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they would be after Kyle's poetry.
Yeah,
I reckon. Well, if they come, if they come and they got a book with them, and we spend a little bit of time trying to translate what the title of the book is, we realise it's a cookbook, and we'll be like, "Oh, bugger!"
Oh well, that was a famous science fiction story, wasn't it? Was it?
Yeah, Twilight Zone. to serve man or something like that, or to serve
Yeah.
humans or something. To serve man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then somebody sees to serve humans. They thought, oh, that's great. They're here to serve us.
They come and they help us out a bit, take loads of us back to their planet, and then like at the end, the woman's coming up. It's a cool book. God, blimey, that was a really great ending. That one, really great story. That's got Richard Kiel, Jaws as the big alien.
Right, guys, I'm going to log off. I'll see you again next week.
Oh, it's been an hour, yeah. See you next week, mate.
Cheers, guys.
See you later,
I think you should bang off before Bill gets here.
Yeah. Oh, there I am up in the top corner. Why am I shrunk down?
You're not shrunk down.
Oh, I am on my screen, but
screen.
yeah, on my screen on this, I'm just shrunk down in this tiny corner up here. I can see myself in the other side thing though.
Okay, I don't know. That's your
I saw that thing on Europa yesterday, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
Yeah, they do. I do think there might be some life under the ice, don't they? Because it's like it's a big ice crust. I think there's water there, so anywhere there's water, if there's any kind of undersea hot vents or anything like that, then there's a good chance that life might have formed there.
Yeah,
but who knows? Who knows?
And stuff that's coming in on meteorites that they can't explain, and it hits the news before it gets buried. It's becoming so secondary that I think there's just not going to be any stopping it when it comes out. There's just not going to be any stopping it when it's like, yeah, we are not alone. I think that's actually going to happen fairly soon.
I personally think that the universe is too vast, and there's no science that will ever be discovered here or any other planets that will allow them to travel the vast distances. They wouldn't have the resources. No, I don't think anywhere in the universe, any
but
planet.
we've already seen it. I'm telling you, look up the David Fravor Tic Tac. The things
there's a few lights in the sky or whatever. Some hick in the blinking well, arse-lit Kansas sees a bloody old glowing orb or thinks he gets probed by a bloody well alien.
No, look at the videos where the fighter jets are chasing.
I'm gonna need to see a lot more convincing proof before I ever considered that there's any aliens.
Just the way that these things are able to move and travel, and it's anti-gravitational. It's just stuff we can't think of.
Yeah.
Our brains can't wrap around it. That it's just not that vast of a distance. It's just not that big. To us, it's a vast distance.
It is. It's just the whole matter of time and
physics.
It's like you talk about light years between us and all the planets that we've seen. No idea. Well, if there is any life out there, it may be completely different to us. But yeah, I don't know. I've no idea.
What takes us years to travel takes hours.
I certainly don't have your confidence that they're going to suddenly turn up and we're going to suddenly going to drop that proves it. And to be honest, I'd rather nothing does prove it, because I think it would blow too many people's minds in a bad way. To be honest,
yeah, that's the scary part of
that kind of existential. What's the word?
Mass hysteria.
Revelation would I think that would bump a lot of people out.
It will cause mass hysteria. I mean, look at what happened with War of the Worlds. Look at how crazy that was, that they were running ads on that in 1939 saying, this is just a radio program. And then they'd cut back into the acting it out, and people were still panicking.
Yeah, people are only catching bits of it or whatever. But yeah, you can't legislate for the dumbness of humanity.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dumb human beings out there.
Well, and the dumber we get, the more logical it all seems that something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just
we will see.
Because America could not be more dumb than it is today, and tomorrow it's going to be more dumb.
Yeah.
It went from shame to humiliation. I am humiliated to be American and associated with some of these people. That's just vile. Just vile. It's like, just yeah, just how can you? You know, how can you lack a hint of common sense? Doesn't mean you have to like everybody. Just, you know, if somebody's doing something really fucked up, point at them and go, "You're doing something really fucked up."
Well, that's the thing. There's people who use is it sunken cost fallacy, isn't there? Or something. I think that's what it's called. Like, 'cause they're so like invested in something that they refuse to see. Like a lot of people who send all their money to blinking prosperity gospel preachers.
Yeah,
it's gonna. You know what I mean? They keep doing it because they think eventually it's gonna work. Eventually they're gonna get their reward.
Half our country has Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Anyway.
Okay, that's not good. Something just went thump on my garage door.
Oh, I'm gonna come tonight here anyway, mate.
And somebody's at my door.
All right, do you want me to stay on there in case you get mugged and I can phone the police for you?
I'm hoping it's just a package delivery or something. Yeah, that was a big thump at my garage door. Thought it was the kids playing basketball for a minute, but now I think it's a delivery because I think I just heard a truck pull off.
What I do, just throw it at your door and.
Usually sounds are. Yep, it was just a delivery. Usually sounds are like at a distance here.
What you got? Is there any comic books? You can open it up. Is it comic books?
Do what?
Is it a delivery of comic books?
No. I would imagine it's kids' Christmas presents.
Oh, and then.
Just the small trinkets and stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna call it a night. Are you gonna decorate your place for Halloween?
I don't know what we're gonna do. I know I'm probably gonna stand up our 8-foot skeleton on my little shepherd's hook for my bird feeder and just pass out candy sitting on the edge of our garage or something, depending on how cold it is. So I don't know. We're the cool little people that give kids lots of candy and put up decorations and, you know, have kids smiling, because that's what I'm all about. If I could, I'd sit out front as Santa Claus.
I'm going to finish this now, Carl.
Okie dokie. I lived through that one.
Lisa's poisoning the atmosphere in this room.
Hey, you know what you could do, though, before we cut off? Share your amazing music, buddy.
I don't know if I can on here, actually. Let's have a look. I don't know if it will work. I don't know if I can present. Yeah, I don't know how to share music files. Yeah. I don't know if I can share. Oh, I could upload it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I can thank you in front of the world, or all two people that are watching, like my mom. So,
for that
was so damn cool. I got a lump in my throat almost immediately. I thought, how
you silly bugger. It was just a crappy old song with lyrics I made up in about 2 minutes.
But it was sweet. It was sweet. I can't wait to share that with people.
I had to add in one nice thing so I could get away with all the bad things I said.
Well, there you go.
That's how you do it. Here you go.
I'm lost in truth adjacency that's just getting worse by the day.
Can you hear it?
No.
It's on my end, but it's kind of broken up on my end.
He's a great bloke to his lovely wife. His mom writes better poems than him. He truly is a mule in Quinn.
Well, yeah, it was. Yeah, I trust my brain less and less every day. The devils in my mind went straight to Seawolf and the comics you were talking about. Not thinking about DC, I was thinking about Dell the whole time.
Yeah, don't worry about it, mate. It happens. Right, I'm going to put an end to this then. See you next week. Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you later, Bill. You missed us again, Bill.